I got it. I'm unmuting. You got to go and unmute yourself.
So now be careful.
Okay, can you guys hear us?
Priya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, now hold on. Can everyone hear us? Jeff, can you raise your hand if you can hear us?
Abby, how were you able to find it? Did you find it from the calendar?
Okay, Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly.
We're going to start the meeting. Noting the time of 7:27 and the presence of a quorum, I call the Boxborough Fire Station Building Committee to order. I'm going to take a roll call attendance. Mike? Present.
Here. Present.
Alan?
Present.
Maria?
Nealon, present.
Sarah?
Present.
Mac?
Present.
Priya?
Present.
And Mary present. I'm going to ask for everybody's patience. I apologize for the severe technical difficulties. Everybody's patience is already kind of gone. So let's try to be civil and polite tonight, even though we had a rough start. So thank you for that. I am going to move us to public input. As a reminder to the public, we are going to take input throughout the meeting on the topics that we're discussing, but if you have something that you want to raise at this time, you are welcome to, in the room, go to the mic, or online, raise your hand, physical or virtual, and we will call on you.
Okay, Mike, I'm not a co-host. You've got to unmute Jeff and Janet, and then I'm going to ask Kelly to make me a co-host, so I can handle that.
They should be able, they're unmuted.
Okay. They should be unmuted now.
Okay, so Jeff or Janet, if you wanted to say something now, you should be unmuted.
Okay, thank you. I just have a very basic housekeeping question, and that is on the town's website, the most recent minutes posted are from March. And that's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
And also the frequently asked questions are quite out of date. So the town's website for the Fire Station Building Committee needs some attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say minutes are in each packet weekly, but they should be also in the place where you go to look for minutes. So we will attend to that. And we are just starting to now take new questions to update frequently asked questions. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
One last comment.
Yeah.
For people that I know, there were at least a dozen folks that wanted to join this meeting
Yeah.
and couldn't get in and actually gave up
Yes.
and don't have the information to get in. So it's not really an open meeting.
Well, we are posting it, or have posted it on the website. It's been posted, so it is there now. And it is in the room. From this point forward, we're going to, on our agenda, add, if there are technical problems, we will continue in person only, because we can't skip our meetings when there are technical problems. We need to have our meetings moving forward. So it is on there. We've tried to let people know. Becky posted it on social media. We've been emailing people, texting people. We're doing our best. Any other?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, so we have had a number of questions coming up through email and through our Pfeiffer's Day thing. So, and Sarah, in her typical fashion, has gathered things and will be sharing questions and responses.
All right, so I will start us off. With 3 questions, and the first 3 are: what is the status of the town owning 984 Mass Ave? When is the closing date, and what are the title issues, and what are the options being done to resolve them? I'm going to ask Mike to give us a quick update on those.
Sure, absolutely. So for acquisition purposes of the property at 984 Mass Ave, an ALTA survey is in progress. This survey helps mitigate risks associated with title defects, a few of which the legal title search have uncovered, which was not unexpected. The title insurance company is requiring the Alta survey to properly cover and cure any title defects. Fortunately, this same survey will be invaluable for site layout and station design. We're on track for a closing date of July 17th. Last week, the survey sub-consultants who are working under Context Architecture began working with Boxborough's planning department on the historical research part of the Alta survey. So, you know, a couple of the defects are old probate things that have shown up that our legal team has discovered, more than 25 years old, some dating way, way back. You know, it's, in case any of these title defects should come up in the future, we are insuring those, and our title insurance company is requiring this more extensive land survey, and that's how we're covering those.
And in the meantime, do we have a signed purchase and sale agreement? Like usually before you finalize, there's some kind of signed agreement.
So there is a P&S. We've exchanged that with the landowner and plan on executing that by the end of this month, hopefully
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks. So next question is, should the town be spending money on the 984 Mass Ave site when it does not own it? And at this point, we've actually spent very little on the work specific to this site, and the bulk of the design work thus far could be used on any other location if needed. The only work specific to this site is the initial work related to the direct access to Route 111. And as Mike said, the Alta survey that's occurring right now. The next question, how much money has been spent on this since the town voted to buy it? And thus far, we've only invested in the early work of the Alta survey, and as mentioned, no other work is site-specific. How much work to date is applicable to another site if that were to become necessary? The 984 site will be owned by the town. There are no other sites, and if there were a problem acquiring 984 Mass Ave, most of the work to date could be used on another site. Has it been determined whether direct access to Route 111 is possible? There will be discussion on this subject later tonight in tonight's FSBC meeting. What is the expected DOT delay to approve this curb cut? And that is yet to be determined. Will DOT permit a fire station entrance within 100 feet of an existing entrance? Again, that's yet to be determined. And when will it be determined if direct access to Route 111 will have less than a 6% slope? And that review is being done by Context and their civil engineer right now. And we will begin discussion on this at tonight's meeting. When Context offered to reduce their fee, did that reduction come from eliminating LEED certified services? No, we did not request LEED certification on this project as part of the RFP. Some of the reductions were related to removing LEED certifiable services and instead using the LEED checklist as a guide for sustainability and green design. Additionally, there were reductions in other service areas. For example, the civil engineers had included a wetlands delineation on the other side of Route 111, and we asked them to remove that since we recently had one done on 975 Mass Ave, which saved us several $1,000s. For the test pits, they had included excavation services, and we said that we will provide our own DPW equipment and operators for that work. And this was a due diligence process to get to the services needed for the project at the best cost. So this was needed to be done. When Context said they would oversee subcontractors, which subcontractors were they referring to? Design subcontractors, development subcontractors, or both? And they were referring to design sub-consultants. During construction, if funding is approved, Context will review the work of trade subcontractors for compliance with contract requirements. Where will the testing for wells be conducted? We have tentative locations based upon early investigations. The locations will be finalized later in the design phase. All the work will go through the Board of Health in Boxborough, and will comply with their standards. This work will be done as part of the civil engineering scope of work during the schematic design and design development phase. Will a 72-hour flow and drawdown test be performed? And we will follow the Board of Health standards. Does the town have a guarantee to use Sarah's Way? Well, the purchase agreement includes an easement, which includes use of and the right to improve and maintain that road. And will the firehouse project be responsible for improvements to Sarah's Way? And that answer is yes, they will be responsible for those improvements.
I suggest that we start posting these. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Or
No,
is
no.
it gonna be too much work having to deal with posting it with the answers?
No, we can post it. I was thinking the same thing, like at least attaching it directly into the minutes, but if we
Yeah.
want to, the question is, should it just get put into an FAQ, or should it be, like, I don't know, where's the best way to post it?
I know.
Yeah.
These,
I think it
you know,
could go
the
in an
title of this is
FAQ.
community questions, right? So
Right.
we could do FAQ/community questions.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could just post each document on a weekly, or, you know, every meeting we have, we could just post the documents. Maybe get rid of the old FAQ, or put it to
Yeah.
the back of the pile, because these are current questions people have.
Right, we could,
So-
we could have it as one FAQ that flows with the date,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
put the most recent on top.
Yeah.
I think
Can
that
we
would be
do
good.
Do you mind? I don't wanna add work to you.
Well, as in the case tonight, Mike answered some of those, so I took
Yes.
some notes. We need to add, if anybody added something to it verbally before it
Right.
gets posted.
Right, exactly, but if
So
we
we'll-
could do that.
Yeah.
I think that way we're constantly updating our frequently asked questions.
Right.
And they're very current.
Right.
So, there's a hand up.
Oh,
Jeff and
yeah,
Janet.
okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna unmute them.
Okay, yes. Jeff,
You should,
Janet, one of you have your hand up?
Yes. So Sarah, thank you for really that comprehensive conversation. I just want to make sure I understand the interplay between the closing date and conditions and what Sarah just cited. And I'm trying to understand the curb cut question. There's a current curb cut that wasn't approved by the DOT that needs to get approved? That's Sarah's Way?
No, we haven't asked for DOT for anything yet. We're gonna start a discussion on whether we should go for a direct entrance onto Mass Ave, or whether we should be using Sarah's Way. And we'll start that discussion this evening.
Okay, these would be conditions to close, though.
No.
That we know, you're gonna buy the property without knowing if we have access to 111.
no.
We have access to 111. We know we have access to 111.
Are you talking, Jeff, are you talking through Sarah's Way? Access to 111 through Sarah's Way, are you referring to that question?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand,
Okay.
is the current curb cut, which is Sarah's Way,
Oh.
was that approved by DOT, or do we have to get DOT approval to use it?
We do not need, it's an existing road that DOT has already approved. We don't need to get DOT approval to use what's there. If we modify it, we will need to work with DOT on that. But if, either way, yes, we're gonna purchase the land before we get any DOT approval, because that's a long process. And so we're either gonna need DOT approval if we go direct to Mass Ave, or if we wanna do any widening of Sarah's Way or anything like that.
Okay, and the Sarah's Way, the PNS will specify that we have a right to use it,
Yes,
but we are obligated to fix it, maintain it, and that's a benefit to the abutters, is that correct?
we will fix and maintain the piece of Sarah's Way adjacent to our property. We're not doing up high where the residents are. We have no obligation for that. We have an easement for a specific piece of Sarah's Way, which is
Okay.
in line with our property.
But that's still a benefit to the abutters.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we have a retail store right there that is adjacent, will be adjacent to the fire station.
Correct.
And so that's a benefit to them,
Yep,
to that retail gun shop.
2 minutes.
yep,
Okay, thank you.
yep. Okay.
Mary, can I just ask a question?
Please.
Stepping out on the road. I would assume that wherever we built this, there would be some benefit to the abutters. Like if we had gone to 72, there would have probably been a benefit to the abutters because we would have had to say a Stowe Road too. So no matter where we build, the abutters are going to see, hopefully see some benefit to this. I mean, they're being very kind and letting us build there, so I think it's
Yes.
great.
I mean, right, and some people see that there are challenges for abutters, and some people see benefits, and, yeah, it's regardless of where we are, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna move us to new business, and so we have an update on the purchase of 984 Mass Ave, although I think maybe we covered all that. Is there anything else you wanna add to that?
I believe that covers everything. We do plan on signing the purchase and sale by the end of the month. The only other thing, as I mentioned, we do have permission from now till the closing to get on and off the property to conduct a survey and anything else, needed in the meantime.
Great, okay. All right, so we're gonna move into fire station concept plan, site plan, and design progress updates. So Chris, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Mike, are you gonna share this? I
It'll
can
be
share it on Zoom,
Emily
but
sent a file around 3 o'clock
I
today.
guess I could share it if you want me
Okay.
to.
If you can.
I can.
If you don't get it quickly, I have
So
it on a
this
flash
is
drive here.
just confirm for me that this is what I'm sharing? Well, I'm sharing it, but this is what you're talking about? Chris, is that what
No,
you
the
want?
first page should be a rendered page like this.
Yeah, so hold on. I was flipping through it earlier.
Okay.
I'm on page 13. Sneak peek.
Side Mass Ave.
There we go. Okay?
Yes, that's
All
it.
right. You let me know when you want me to click down page.
Can you make it larger?
Can you
for
make it
everyone?
bigger by any
I
chance?
probably can. I made it smaller so I could, you tell me when.
Hasn't changed.
What do you mean?
Oh, there it goes.
You're zooming in, but it's not taking up more space.
Oh, I don't know how you want me to do that.
See how
I
that
think
white
you-
box is
yeah.
little in,
Here comes Mary.
oh, it's fully on your screen, so, yeah, no, she can't.
Okay.
She can zoom in, but that's it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I can walk everyone through this. So the first slide here is one of the site plans we looked at the last meeting we had, and it is illustrating how we could connect to Mass Ave from the apparatus. And this is the apparatus is perpendicular to Mass Ave with the offices and residential on the Sarah's Way side. Since we started looking at this, we had our engineers do a more thorough review of the grading. We have an existing survey that was part of the materials from phase 1, and we also have some information from the geotech engineers about depth of ledge and depth of fill on the property. And we took all that information and began to look at what we needed to do to be able to meet a 5%, maximum 5% grade in the paved area from the apparatus to Mass Ave. So it required us to move the building back 120 feet, as well as alter the grades where the building is going to an elevation of roughly 360, I think it's 346. So we're actually dropping the site, or putting a cut in the site to be able to position the building so we can have a 5% grade. In doing so, we would need to berm, which is building up land, in that loop that's in red alongside of on the west side and the south side of the structure and parking area. And there would be some areas we would have to put in a segmented retaining wall. That's not a cast-in-place concrete wall. It's large masonry blocks that are joined together that retain the earth. Because there will be some areas where we will be retaining about 12 feet of fill. Existing grade plus fill. So we're concerned about the risk that would place on the budget for the project, because it's a lot of earth moving to get an entrance onto Mass Avenue. It does still allow for the replacement of the stormwater management, the septic system, and it will have to look at relocating slightly where we propose to have the wells, but it is a fairly significant amount of earthwork to make this happen. It is doable. The question is, since we haven't done a real thorough investigation of the site, we only know the areas that were investigated in phase 1, where we were able to determine some depth of fill and depth of bedrock. We'd want to do a much more thorough investigation if we decide to go this route. I had the engineers put together a more detailed takeoff of what the grades would be around the building with this approach. They have done that. And I also asked them to put together some budget numbers. These are very, very loose numbers of what the cost might be for some of the excavated work. And of course, they came up with a range because at this point we don't have all the data to be able to create a precise cost. The low range is about $3 million in site costs. The high range goes quite a bit higher than that. So the question is exiting onto Mass Ave prudent for the design of the building? Is there a real benefit to the fire department? The other piece of the puzzle here is we would have to remove a number of street trees because that's a fairly wooded area at Mass Avenue, and we might require removing trees adjacent to the drive to be able to create a safe sight line for when the apparatus come out, especially on the west side of the apparatus drive where the topography is actually going downhill, so you don't have as clear a view of oncoming vehicles. So those are all issues that we're looking at more closely. We are still keeping one of the design schemes with this connection. However, we are seriously considering whether it's a viable approach for the project. And we'd want to talk closely with this committee and with the fire chief to really hear what the tolerance is for risk, because there will be some financial risk until we do all the engineering.
I think you said that you would move it back 152 feet or something?
120 feet.
120 feet, and versus what?
Earlier we were looking at a distance of 80 feet from the street.
So significantly further back.
Right, right. And that's in combination of lowering the slab to be able to meet the 5% pitch, to Mass Avenue.
Alan?
You can't see it there, but if you look closely on a print, you have the elevation of the apparatus bay at 346.
Yes.
And you have the elevation of the admin building at 350.
They'd be the same.
I'm sorry?
They should be the same, Alan. That's a
Okay,
misprint.
so there's no stair between the apparatus bay and the admin building?
No. Yeah, this plan was first, the black numbers are actually an initial study of different elevations for the building, for the grading, and then there are some red numbers that are placed in there, which are the most recent numbers that we've been working with. But the slab elevation of the apparatus is the final elevation that we're working with for this study. The admin should have been the same numbers at.
And did I hear correctly, you said the engineer wants to keep the decline from the apparatus bay to the road at 5% or less? Hence, that's why you had to move it back, to make more of a shallow ramp rather than a steep ramp to the road.
Right.
And is 5% good with the chief?
As long as it's within the standards, as long as it's within the standards, the safety standards for the apparatus and getting in and out, it'd be fine.
You can go a little greater than 5%. We traditionally don't ever design apparatus slopes that are greater than 5%. So that's really our guide, is 5%.
And does the $3 million or so that you mentioned, that includes buying fill for the site, or is it moving fill around that we already have?
It's too early to be that specific, but it would be a combination of the two, I'm sure. Because we don't know the characteristics of all the material that's being removed. If it's being removed and being used on the periphery where there are no paved areas, that's a whole different situation. If it's fill that needs to be placed at an area that will receive paving, it may not meet the characteristics that you need for compaction.
Chris?
And it needs
Yes.
to be able to take the weight of those vehicles.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
can't be, you know, pine trees that have been shredded and,
Yeah, we can't even, yeah, we're not going to bury organics.
yeah, no
Well, the
organic.
same thing with the construction of the berms that you're showing, right? That has to be soil material, not debris.
We would not be, if they unearth pockets of organics, that would not be used for any fill.
Plus, it seems like that's a huge apron, the full width of the whole apparatus, 5 bays all the way out to 111. That's a huge cost. I don't know, personally, there's another way to do it, and it's a lot less costly, but, you know, it's up to the chief.
You'll see as we go through the slides tonight that we have a couple other options that present some, I think, some good possibilities for exiting onto Mass Ave from Sarah's Way. Yes?
Sarah?
The $3 million is the cost to build this. That's not the differential of building, so like rebuilding Sarah's Way to hold the apparatus, if that were the other choice.
I don't know what that number would be, Sarah. Would be, what I asked the engineers to do was to give a ballpark number on the berms and the retaining walls and the excavation.
Okay.
When it's a lot more excavation for this type of approach than it would be for another approach.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to do some investigation as to what the composition of Sarah's Way is. We know that it wasn't built to the standards for regular roads in Boxborough or even in the state. But what you'll see as we go through it, the presentation, the heaviest apparatus will be exiting onto Sarah's Way, no further up than the driveway to the adjoining property. And the rest of Sarah's Way would be for just regular truck and vehicle. Truck meaning, you know, an F-150 or something, and regular vehicles.
I believe I spoke at the last meeting in favor of a direct access, which I think the chief probably would like too, but he can speak for himself. But for $3 million, I don't think that we can consider that, although I think, as Sarah said, we need to know what the cost is of Sarah's Way. If we did go directly out, I'm assuming there would have to be something spent on Sarah's Way, but not nearly as much if it's not going to have to deal with the heavy trucks. But it's still, I think that's going to be very difficult to sell. But I think we need to, after we go through this, to see what the chief says.
Yeah, Sarah?
I also see retaining walls and berms, and those do require like a level of maintenance as well, which will add more money over the cost of the years as well.
That's a really good point. All right, Maria?
No.
Oh, okay.
Jeff has his
Jeff.
hand up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. You had indicated that the estimates for the grading and the fill and so forth was $3 million to something greater, but you didn't say what the something greater is. I would ask that you share that number with us, just so we have that range. Is it 3 to 3.5, or is it 3 to 8 million? I just want to understand what the risk is here.
We don't really know what the grader is yet, because it requires some subsurface investigation of the areas in which we affected. Right now, the basis of our knowledge is previous investigation, and that work was done in parts of the site that which were not planned to be excavated. but just based upon what we know for the excavation around the building, they're able to come up with a base number for that and a base number for the retaining, but we don't know much more about the subsurface conditions in that area.
But did they give you a range of numbers or just one number?
It could be double, they said.
Okay. And because we have to move the building back, we have to move the wells also? That's in
No.
addition to the cost of the berms?
No, we would write, what we did is we took the building plan, the parking plan, and we moved everything back. And you can see the round circle that is to the south of the building was the area designated as a possible well area. We would want to keep that area, that designated area, clear of construction for the wells. You are allowed to have paved surfaces over the well area, but we would not be looking to relocate it. We may, and again, we don't even know if we might be looking at 2 wells instead of 1 well. So that area is still the designated area for wells at this point.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, should we go to the next page? Next slide?
Sure.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get into some of the options of looking at the building with either the 1-story, the 2-story admin, firefighter, residential quarter area, and the apparatus facing towards Sarah's Way. So this scheme, option 1B, has the apparatus more or less parallel to Sarah's Way as best as it can be. You'd be first line response is coming out to Sarah's Way and then out to Mass Avenue. Second line response is coming off the back of the apparatus and driving down the loop road that's right below the building. You may not be able to see it so well from here. And then there is an entrance off of Sarah's Way close to Mass Ave, which is for visitor parking for the station. It holds about 6 to 8 spaces. And then further down Sarah's Way, there is an entrance for the firefighter personnel parking. And that has overflow parking behind the building. And this elevation for the building is planned to be close to, well, I should say the entrance off of Sarah's Way where the apparatus is at 354, ranges from 346 to 354. So we're locating the slab of the building at roughly 350. The next page is...
Before you go there, can I ask, so if we were to go with an approach like this, would Sarah's Way need modification at Route 111, yeah?
Meaning, would it widen?
Would it be widened, yeah?
We'd have to look at that more closely. Right now, what appears to be in place is slightly different from what this survey shows. It looks like it's wider than what the survey shows.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll find that out with this new survey.
Okay.
And then once that is actually set, we'll start looking at the turning radius of the apparatus. The benefit of the drive at Sarah's Way right now is there's very little mature tree growth around it. So there's very good sight lines looking east and west on Mass Avenue, which is another determining factor when you're looking at curve cuts.
Alan?
Chris, just to be sure, the elevations that you're showing here, that's what exists now, right?
There's a bit of a berm, there's a bit of a high elevation between the apparatus and the residential area. It's right beyond where the barn is. It
Yeah.
rises and it falls again.
Right, so it's removing fill, not bringing fill.
Right, right.
And then the other thing was, I noticed, I think it's the property line on the right-hand side, it's got that bump in it, halfway up. Was that bump always there?
In the road.
Yeah.
In the roadway?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed that looking
Yeah.
at this yesterday. I don't know what it is either.
Yeah, the property line doesn't bump, it's just the roadway bumps.
The roadway bumps for some
Yeah,
reason.
so,
And it may not actually, maybe there's a tree, I don't know.
I don't know.
Chris,
The survey should maybe delineate that, the new survey?
The new survey will, I'm not so sure it's gonna capture, that, but we could ask them to see if they can capture that.
and that slope is 5% or less would be?
Yes, yeah.
It's a lot less, isn't it?
It is a lot less, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody has their hand up.
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
I assume
Yeah.
it's Mark Barbadaro, but
Okay, yep.
just
Can you-
based on, I'm gonna unmute him. Mark? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. This is Mark Barbadoro from Old Harvard Road. When you see M Barb, I can't change it when I link into you guys, so
No
you
worries.
can change it if you want. But just wanted to point out that Sarah's Way is far wider than the Boxborough rules of subdivision would have otherwise allowed.
It's really
It's plenty wide for a fire truck to get in and out. It's obscenely wide. We actually, when I was on the planning board, talked about reducing its width. So that's fine. Sightlines are fabulous there. Spending $3 million just to have an access on 111 when DOT is not going to let you do it anyway is, I think, a fool's errand, but just an opinion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And that makes me ask a question. If Sarah's Way doesn't need to be widened, but say we need to do a little work on like the quality of the pavement or something, do you need DOT permission for that? Like what triggers DOT permission in an existing driveway onto 111?
My understanding with DOT is if you're doing anything on their jurisdiction, meaning the right-of-way, including the roadway, you need to notify them. You may not need a permit to do, DOT permit to just redo a section of an existing entrance onto Mass Avenue, because you're not altering the width.
Yeah.
You're just really doing remedial repair to the roadway.
Okay. So that's another little benefit, maybe, not having to deal with them at all or much, yeah.
Right.
Chris?
Mike, yeah.
We probably ought to go out to the site sometime. I've been there a couple of times. And like Mark says, it has very good visibility right in that area. It's a very wide apron. These dashed lines on either side of 111, is that the right-of-way?
Let me get to a cleaner site plan.
There's some dashed lines, and I assume that's probably the right-of-way.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's right away.
So the only thing that's in that, it looks like it's just the apron going out, and then, of course, the road going further up would be private, and you wouldn't affect, I wouldn't think you'd have to go through, the state.
No, I think the only thing that we'd want to make sure is that the assembly of the roadway as it joins Mass Avenue is constructed in such a way that it can withhold the weight of the apparatus.
Right. Is that just a rework, or do you have to go through state agencies to rework that?
Well, the way we'd start would be to have a preliminary meeting with Mass DOT to explain to them the scope of work, projected scope of work, and they would then be able to tell us whether that's going to require a formal process or whether it's just a matter of submitting plans and having them review it and then give you their approval.
Okay.
So, Chief, I'd love for you to weigh in. You've heard both discussions. Do you have an opinion? Yeah.
So, obviously, having the direct access out onto 111 and also having Sarah's Way would be ideal for two ways. But when I look at that picture right there, and I can go back to day one of being on the site when we were approached and even had it mentioned to us, that picture right there is from the very beginning how I envisioned this being. I never, knowing the slope and knowing what the condition of the property along 111 is down there, like I just never assumed that the excavation would honestly be considered. This right here is kind of how I thought this was going to go from the start, but at the, when it came up, I just wasn't going to say no to looking into it. Obviously, let's hear what it would take and let's hear what it would end up being. But no, I wouldn't be opposed to this at all right here. And I think that this is, again, it just goes back to our original visions of how this would possibly end up.
And I think visually, aesthetically, having that huge opening directly, when you drive by, all you'd see is the big apparatus bay. I mean, this huge concrete apron going up, and you've got trees going along. It's just, it feels really good to me right now. But to open that whole thing up, I think that would be a real visual negative.
I would think, and I have not, looked at a lot of meetings with the planning board, but the planning board would also appreciate not knocking down all those trees.
Well, I mean, if we knock down those trees, because I have been to my share of planning board meetings, we would need to replant them. So then you have the expense of,
right.
And then the where. So you'd have to do a whole landscape design and where are you going to replant these trees? That would be a big part of the discussion, I would imagine. So, are we ready for the next page?
I think we are.
Sure. So,
hold on one second.
sorry.
I was just gonna say, Mike mentioned a little earlier, it'd be nice to have a site visit up there. We could post a site visit and take the committee up there, in the next couple of weeks. If that's something you would like to do, Mary, we can arrange for that.
Or maybe we
I
wait
think
till
that's
the
a great
closing.
idea. I know I personally am, it's just easier to see it in real life. Can we do that before the sale? And
We could.
I think that would be great. Yeah.
So right now, we have a written permission for Context and their sub-consultants to go up there and do that. It would be very easy to just get permission for the committee to go up there. And I know not everybody's schedules work out the same. We could go up there in subgroups. Whatever works.
I think subgroups might be good so we don't have a quorum, and I think we probably can't invite the whole public before it's purchased, so subgroups would probably be better.
Yeah, so, the chief and I could go up there with groups of 2 or 3 committee members and see what the layout looks like.
That also might be easier with schedules.
I think it'll be a lot
because
easier
if you have
scheduling.
a couple of days, might be
we could do a morning, we could do a
Yeah.
midday, an afternoon, evening, whatever works for folks. So chief and I will coordinate that.
It also helps with visualizing the massing. I
Right.
know that the architect has put some of these massing things together, but until you get to the site and you're walking up or whatever, driving up Sarah's Way, you say, okay, we'll see a single story with, pitched roofs or gable roofs, and then behind it would be, so you can get a feel for each one of these,
Yes.
concepts that they put together,
Yeah.
which is really good because it gives us opportunities to figure that
Right.
out.
And when you go up there, I'd suggest, as you drive in and out, do what the chief and I have done many, many times, is, look both ways, look, what, are you gonna see the oncoming traffic from either direction, and coming out, same thing. And I think you'll find it's an appealing, entry to and from Sarah's Way.
Mike,
Next.
and I don't know, Chris, have you ever been on the site?
I have.
Okay, so the big barn there that we're gonna rip down, is that a 2-story building?
Probably
In volume?
close.
The big barn that
In
we're gonna rip
terms of
down?
volume?
So
Yes.
when we stand there and we look, we can picture that as a 2-story building.
Right.
That's the kind of mass we're talking about. It's right in front of us. We have an example of it on the site.
And half of that for 1 story.
Correct.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Mac?
Would you be able to put some temporary stakes sort of in a general area that we could get a concept of the direction and,
Yeah, we could lay out some lines as to like where the apparatus.
wouldn't have to be
Might
too
be.
specific, but just so we get an idea of the angles and the size of the apparatus bay especially.
Can we do that before we own it?
I think we could ask them. I mean, even if we went out there with orange highway paint
Yes.
and painted the corners
would
and some
be-
markings.
I was gonna say that
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
but-
So Mark Barbadaro has his hand up again?
Yeah, I don't, yeah, there he is. Okay, yep, Mark?
I'm assuming, Mark, it's a, oh, no, he put it,
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep,
you had your hand up again?
yeah.
I did. Just
Okay.
wanted to let the committee know that open meeting law actually allows you to do site visits with a number of committee members that would constitute a quorum. That's fine. Just don't deliberate when you go there.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So you can actually go out, scheduling a couple of meetings out there so that committee members will be able to fit it into their schedule is a good idea, but don't worry about having a quorum up there. It's
It
not
was
just
more
don't.
worrying about, do we need to invite all the public with us? So,
Okay.
all right, yes.
I think,
Am I going to
I
the
think
next
that
page?
once we
Wait.
own it,
Okay.
once we, and Alan, you were there, and like we did with 72 Story, I think that once we own the property, it would be a good idea to book a day to let the public come and take a look
Absolutely.
at the site as well, so that they can see what we saw and understand better what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to work with Mike and plan those types
Yeah,
of days.
I'd love that.
One or two of those as well.
yep.
Yes, next
Yes,
page?
Yes, next page.
Okay. I'm gonna try to close, hold on, I'm gonna try to make this a little bit bigger. I think if I close out this AI thing, and then make this,
So the next page, this page is
that
just
helps.
showing an interior layout. I have a few copies of this, if anybody wants to look at it more closely.
I got a close one.
sorry, guys, I mean, I don't know how else to do this.
No,
Screen.
You're doing great.
yeah.
It's not angled, so you're.
It's got a size, you know,
How many do we have?
That's just one more.
It's one
Just
packet.
one more?
I don't need it.
I have it on my computer, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
I think they have them.
You guys have
We've got
this?
it.
Yeah, they got it, okay. All right,
So for every site plan we have here, there is a corresponding building plan. There are a couple, there is one site that has a number of iterations of building plans. This is a one-story fire department, admin office, and residential quarters on the north side of the apparatus bay. The main entry is visible from Sarah's Way. You can see the little arrow there between the yellow and the green shades. So you come into the vestibule and the lobby. The lobby has bathrooms, washroom, entrance to admin offices, and then access through to a triage room that brings you right into the apparatus. And then to the left of the lobby is the training room. And then beyond the training room are the fire department dorm rooms, the day room, kitchen, fitness room, and the per diem lockers. On the back side of the building, where the other arrow is outside, is the firefighter entry. So where the firefighter parking is, the firefighters would come into the rear entrance of the building and be able to access the dorms as well as the per diem lockers. The public would always come in through the front at the vestibule and lobby. All of the schemes you'll see have support spaces on the opposite side of the apparatus. Bays, those are spaces for equipment and or workspaces or storage rooms for the apparatus and firefighter needs, as well as a stair tower which can be used as a training tower.
and this is one story.
One story, yes.
So, Chris, in the space needs study, I remember reading about command cars and certain trailers that are going to be under canopy. Where's the canopy?
We haven't actually located that yet
Okay.
on the site.
But there would be one in this scenario?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next page,
Yep.
everybody? Okay.
So as I explained earlier, we did show a couple of schemes that have the exit onto Mass Ave, and this is just one of them. This is again a one-story scheme with the apparatus facing Mass Ave, showing that all apparatus would leave via Mass Ave and return via Mass Ave and drive around the back of the station for the second response. Still would have visitors lot off of Sarah's Way by the entrance to the admin portion of the building, and then a second entrance off of Sarah's Way for the firefighter parking only. So no apparatus would be using Sarah's Way in this scheme if the decision was to proceed to create a new opening at Mass Avenue.
But although the layout is different on this one, it would still require all of the berming and everything else.
This, exactly,
Excavation. Okay.
exactly, yeah. There are, unfortunately, for all of this, I think there's maybe 3 schemes that have a Mass Ave entrance. You would require the berming and the walls.
Okay.
What?
Do you want to go back?
Oh, no, that's good.
Okay.
So this scheme is a slightly different scheme than what we looked at before. You enter sort of in the middle of that long bar that runs the length of the apparatus bay. You have all the admin offices on the right-hand side. You have the training room on the left. You access through to the apparatus from the lobby with the triage room. And you have the rear entry with the firefighters for the firefighters that have the dorm room right off of that with the per diem lockers next to that. And then you have the day room, fitness, dining room at the very end of the hall. So have separated the sort of noisier part of the firefighter quarters from the sleeping part. And we have the per diem lockers right at the entry, firefighter entry, which is in keeping with what their path of travel would be in the building. Again, support spaces on the left-hand side of the apparatus bay, all the wash areas and the turnout gear on the right-hand side.
Questions? Can I go on? Okay.
Okay.
Next page is some 3D studies showing roof shapes. The left-hand side is showing a pitched roof over the apparatus and pitched roof over the admin and residential portion, breaking it up into some smaller forms. And the view at the top is standing essentially at Sarah's Way looking at the station. And because the apparatus is far back, you see the peak of it sticking up beyond the residential and admin offices, but the main portion of the building that you see would be the residential and the admin with the entry. On the right-hand side is showing a scheme that has a flat roof over the apparatus with pitched roofs on the admin and residential portion of the building. And because of the nature of the flat roof, you would not really see that from Sarah's Way and Mass Ave. It would be obscured. As you come around the building, you would see the the apparatus entrance.
In the version where it was a little rotated, you wouldn't see it maybe when you're coming in on Sarah's Way, but as you go up Sarah's Way, you definitely see that apparatus bay.
Oh yeah. And you'll see we have a scheme in here that has that, and the apparatus is much more prominent.
And how do we feel about all these pitch roofs? Like, there's so much going on.
The piece that's missing for me is, I mean, you've got a great drone's view here, but nobody's going to see this from a drone.
No,
I'd like to see the perspective if I were standing at the corner at ground level.
Right, the top one, the top 2 illustrations are more or less like that. I'm not too sure what the eye level is at. It might be 6 or 7 feet above grade, but that would be what you would see.
When I look at the left schematic, the top, you can see the end of the gable there.
Yes.
Of the apparatus bay. And it would seem to me that gives you an opportunity to put a lot of natural light into the apparatus bay if that were glass of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flat roof, you don't have that.
Right.
Is that an important thing to think about, or is that too much solar gain?
It's not too much solar gain, but we haven't designed the building yet, and I'm not too sure whether we would actually be exposing the gable in the apparatus, because if you expose the gable, then it's space that you're heating to a higher level than you would.
You've got all
if it
that
was
volume.
Yeah.
So you'd put a false seal, not a false ceiling, you put a ceiling.
You put a ceiling in there. You still would have to heat it minimally. You would have heaters on a thermostatic control, and it'd have to have a sprinkler system up there. but you would not have to heat it to the degree you would if it was a habitable space.
Is it stand-up height if you did that? It's like an attic in your house, you could stand up?
Yeah, but I don't know if we'd use it as a storage attic.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some other ways that we're going to create storage in the apparatus, but to the most effective roof structure for price and durability would be an open wood truss system, and those generally aren't designed to hold any weight besides someone servicing equipment up there. You'd have catwalks that would give you that access.
The other thing, if I may, when I look at the flat app bay with the, I don't know what you call that kind of roof,
Envelope.
but it looks to me like you got an awful lot of rainwater draining toward some kind of a gutter that you got to put between the admin building and the apparatus bay because of that huge amount of water that's going to flow into there.
With the flat roof, we would be pitching it to interior drains that would come down most likely alongside a column in the apparatus.
Well, that's great for rain, but what do you do when it's got 2 feet of snow on it?
It stays there until it melts.
So it doesn't leak. It's not an issue.
It's not completely.
It's
there's a slight
got a little
pitch. Pitched to drain.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a heavily insulated roof.
Yeah.
So you will not be getting a lot of thermal passage. So really the snow stays there until the weather gets warm and it starts melting.
So it seems to me it's a lot of maintenance, keeping the leaves out of that gutter too, that whole area where that converges.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if you've been on flat roofs as much, but generally with the wind, the leaves don't tend to stay on the flat roof. They actually stay in valleys around pitched roofs more than they do on flat roofs. But, you know, like any building, there's a certain amount of maintenance that has to be done on a regular basis. What we will be incorporating into the design of the building, no matter what the roof shape is easy access to get out to the roof. Because, you know, if it's difficult to get out, you're not going to service it. If it's easy to get out there, get up and get out there, then you'll service it more.
Especially if there's solar cells on it, right?
Well, yeah, particularly if you have that, yes.
Okay, Priya has her hand up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the difference between, is there an advantage to one type of roof as opposed to the other, between the gable and the flat? And then is there a roof that is south facing in case if we need to add solar panels?
So the illustration on the lower left, depending upon the orientation of the building, one side would most likely be the south-facing side, or more southern-facing than the other one. If it's a flat roof, you arrange your solar panels according to how you want, according to the correct orientation. So you have more flexibility if you're using panels on a flat roof than you do on a pitched roof.
So no other advantage other than that between a gable?
There's obviously less structure if you have a flat roof. You're using you have to have a partial steel structure in an apparatus bay because it's so large. Otherwise, you'd have really enormous wooden beams. So you're going to have a steel structure in the apparatus. Most likely that's going to either support a metal deck insulated roof, or it's going to support the point loads for a wood truss. So if you have a wood truss, then your insulation is going to go on the pitched roof of the truss. And that space between the pitched roof and the ceiling of the apparatus would have some ventilation in it. It would also have some unit heaters to take the cold off in the wintertime, because you will have a sprinkler system up there. There's more volume, obviously, with a pitched roof that you have to then incorporate mechanical systems into it. And, you know, it's a judgment call as to what a client would like. We can design a tight pitched roof, and we can design a tight flat roof. But you sort of look at it.
One be cheaper than the other?
Not always, because wooden trusses are really inexpensive.
That's what I was getting at. I like the pitch roof both for New England and for appearance, but I assume before we have to make the decision, we'll have some more specific cost difference
Yes,
so
yeah.
that we can.
We'll be doing a cost estimate and schematic design, which will have options.
Great.
You know, so we'll look at all of that.
I don't know, I mean, the apparatus bay, even if it has pitched roof, that's gonna be a huge area on the south side for solar panels. The flat roof, you're gonna have to raise the parapet somewhat, unless you just wanna see the panels up there. Anyway, if there's people walking around, you'd have to have a higher parapet. So,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have to have a steel deck and I'm leaning toward the pitched roof myself, aesthetically too.
Yeah. You don't need to put concrete on the roof of a flat roof, just a metal deck, and you get layers of board and insulation.
Yeah.
However, it's a different look.
Yeah.
And I think, the decision would be made based upon the entire design of the building and how it all joins together, and really, what the town and client are looking for.
Okay, I'm gonna go Sarah, Maria, then Mark. So Sarah?
Okay, two things. I want a pitched roof because I've heard this from a wise woman once. You get to date it, but we have to marry it. And so,
Okay, well, there you go.
That's it.
The maintenance of a flat roof.
Remember that.
I will fight for the maintenance of a pitched roof all day.
All right.
The second thing I had was the first option that you showed, option 1 with the retaining walls and everything. The roof lines in that sketch are different than the option 1 that's in this massing here. And
Yes, they are.
They are different.
Yes.
Do you want me to go back to it?
well, no, I don't think you need to go back to it, but I was like, is there a reason that that wasn't shown versus the other one? Because the one that's shown in the option, in the massing that's up on the screen right now looks really choppy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks really confusing as to how, us homeowners, engineers, informed folk trying to figure out how the roof's gonna drain off and where the leaks are gonna be.
Yeah.
True. We are a concept design, so we're just sort of
I get it,
playing
yeah.
with the different shapes. But no, we would, if this were in schematic design, we would not have a roof configuration like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is literally just to see how tall it will be,
We're
not
playing
necessarily
with
the orientation.
volumes right now.
Okay, all right. Good,
And
thank you.
the reason we show the bird's eye view of it is to give an indication of what the roof looks like, if it's flat or whether it's pitched, because if I showed you the two renderings at the top, you wouldn't really know that the apparatus was a flat roof unless I told you that.
Yeah.
But there is, it's concept design, really
Okay.
volumetric study.
So Maria, before I go to you, I see Steve raised his hand. Steve, do you want to add something? You need to unmute him.
Did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out too that, there is somewhat of a potential for a happy medium between flat and fully pitched, where you would have, a mansard roof on sort of the street facing sides. That's similar to what was done at the Norfolk Fire Station. And then you have the flat roof in which you can utilize for your solar panels and have the ability to orient them to their optimal direction, no matter how the building is set up. So that's also a potential. It gives you the look, but you still have the ability to utilize the flat roof part.
Great, thank you. Okay, Maria?
Actually, Sarah asked the question for me. This roof line, because there's, in
Yeah.
the middle of the 3, looks like another flat roof.
Yeah.
So I was
There's
envisioning,
a
like,
lot.
who's getting up there to shovel that
Yeah.
and get ice dams? And I will say, coming from Connecticut, those 2 top pictures look like a tobacco field to me. So I need windows.
Absolutely.
They
I
do.
literally could not figure out
We
why.
can open up the
Yes,
slats
yes.
for the drawing. I love it.
Right? And I couldn't figure out why this looked so familiar, and when I saw it up on the screen, I'm like, those are the tobacco sheds from
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
So we need to, work on that a little bit with windows and doors and stuff.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Someone in my office said we should put a farmer's porch on it, and I said, no, you can't do that because I'm afraid of language. So we're
Tobacco
I'm
barn.
running out of
Yeah, sorry.
vocabulary from my building.
Okay, Mark also has his hand up.
Yes, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. So I couldn't agree more with Sarah that we're stuck with a building at the end of it all, and the maintenance, municipalities in general, not Boxborough specific, are terrible at maintenance of buildings. So a town where we don't have a facilities director, these buildings tend to not get managed well. So understanding that it might be more expensive to choose one material or configuration over another, but in the long haul, it's something that we need to spend less time maintaining is essential. But I would differ with her on whether or not a pitched roof is actually more easily maintained than a flat roof. Flat roofs, the materials now, they can go 50 years, 100 years. When the seams fail, you're treating the seams, the rubber stays down or the vinyl stays down. They're energy efficient. They have a flat surface for solar panels. They also use that space for RTUs, which are heating and cooling equipment. They also can use that area for a generator too. So there's a lot that can be done with a flat roof. And I actually think they're, in personal opinion, when you're talking about most of the commonly used roofing materials right now, pitched roofs are prone to ice damming, and flat roofs, you don't have to get up and shovel, especially a modern building that can handle the snow loads.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, they, it's not like in the past, a flat roof you think would cave in a building, but that's not what they do anymore. Good.
Next. This is interesting.
Here we are. Okay, this is another variation on the single story admin fire residential quarter with the apparatus now facing Mass Ave, but the entrance and exit for all apparatus is via Sarah's Way. So the drive at the top of the page is the drive that the apparatus from the front line and the second line response will exit and return to the station. And then further up Sarah's Way, there's a small business lot where the entry to the building is, the visitor entry. Then further up Sarah's Way is the firefighter parking lot. That's where the firefighter personal vehicles are to be parked, as well as overflow parking for the per diem firefighters and a training area. And then the next page is the plan for this. This design, the training room, you come into the public entry off of Sarah's Way, and there's a training room to your right. There's the admin offices to your left. You have direct access off the lobby to a triage right into the apparatus room. If you are there to see someone in the administrative offices, there's a watchroom, then the administrative person, the chief, lieutenant, captain, and conference room, and a passage that is open to those offices, meaning it's secured from the lobby, but it's open to all the offices, and that leads you down to the residential quarters of the station and also to the firefighter entry. So firefighters still come in on the backside where the parking is. They come in, they can go right into the apparatus, or they can, if they're per diem, they come in, they go right into the per diem locker room. If they're the not regular, if they're the staff firefighters, they would proceed to their dorm rooms or day room, kitchen, fitness room, still with access to the apparatus. So there's still, to the administrative offices. So all the firefighters and the chief, lieutenant, and captain are in the secure part of the building, and the lobby is the public lobby next to the training room, which could be used by the firefighters or the public if they choose to allow it to be scheduled that way. And like all the schemes, the rooms to the left of the apparatus are the support spaces. The rooms to the right are the turnout gear and the decontamination areas for the turnout gear.
So if you go back one slide on the site part of it, it seems like here, now your trucks have to do a hard turn out of the bay to get onto Sarah's Way, versus the 1B where it was rotated.
Yep.
Could you rotate this? Like if the chief and folks thought this was the better downstairs layout, could you rotate that so they have that nicer, I like that access better from the bay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I to Mary's point, looking at what we've looked at so far as like floor layout goes, and knowing how we're staffed and how things go, like that is the most functional layout for admin and living. It's just that the way the station's oriented on the property isn't ideal for the trucks coming and going out.
I like this design. This is clean. My brain can deal with the straight lines and all of that.
Did he answer your question?
No, he hasn't answered it, and he may not have an answer today. You may not need to play with it, but
Yeah.
it's something to consider.
What's the number of it?
Yeah, we're not ready to make a recommendation yet on a particular design because
Yeah.
this, I think we're flooding you with a lot of information.
Yeah.
But in our office, we feel that the
Mine are diamond shaped.
scheme,
Okay, one meeting.
we feel scheme site plan option 1B, which has a slightly tilted apparatus admin portion to Sarah's Way, but provides more of a clean direction to Mass Ave.
Yeah.
Appears to us to be a direction we want to pursue more.
Yeah.
As far as the design of the admin quarters, personally, I find the scheme that provides full security to all of the firefighter, whether it's per diem or staff firefighters and the chief, lieutenant, and captain, all within one area that they can then freely go from one space to another without having to cross into a public space, is preferred.
So is that the plan 1C that I
That's
have up?
1C.
Okay, I
Yes.
just want to make sure I
That's
have the right
that's
one up,
1C.
what you're looking at.
So our thought would be to, if you could take 1C, if you can imagine flipping the admin residential portion so that you have a clear, visible entry from the intersection of Sarah's Way and Mass Ave, that would be something we want to explore next.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. By flipping, what does that mean?
Right now, you have the training room on the right side, and you have the residential court on the left side. We'd flip it so you would have the training room on the left side and the residential on the right side. But when you also
You would do that
skew the
only if you
building-
rotated it.
Yeah,
right?
you rotate it,
rotate
and
it.
you flip it and you rotate
So you
it.
would rotate the building as well?
Right.
Because I was trying to figure out how to get it back to what Mary's question was. Okay.
Because when you rotate the building, you would now, if you rotated the building like 1B, but you use the layout of 1C, in that rotation, you want the public to be able to come in quickly.
Right.
To do that, you'd have to flip training with living.
Yeah, so that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And it
again.
makes
I
sense,
just-
and so
yeah.
it's worth playing with that
Yeah.
and see if
Yeah.
you can do that.
I do think this layout, this interior layout, is better. I like, so having been in like the Lexington, when you walk into
Oh,
their
you're not
police
allowed to say
station.
that. No.
I'm sorry. You know, everything's very cut off. You go to the lobby, there's a conference room on one side and a training room on the other side, and that
Yeah.
is, and that's it. Like, and there's somebody behind glass that says you can pay your tickets here, type of thing. So I think that gives sort of that, I like how that's cut off, especially with the training room, if we do have other people,
Right.
or even if we're having firefighters come in from other,
Right.
the chief's talking about doing training here, you know, you just keep them
Right,
contained.
it's more private for the
Yeah, I
staff.
think it's better when the design allows you to have levels of privacy if you want to create them or secure them.
Just, it seems
Right.
like it's a long way from the kitchen to the front door when there's only 2 people in the station. And every time the doorbell rings, look where they gotta go. It's just a long haul. Isn't it, Chief?
Well, it is. Well, I don't know. Like, it's looking at it as yes, it's further away than the admin offices are. But what's the alternative? The alternative is to move the kitchen closer to the front door, and then people have to walk through the kitchen to get to the admin offices.
As long as you're happy with the flow.
So-
To me, it just seems like a lot of walking to the front door from the
No,
farthest
if
place
you
in the
have
building.
it, but if you have it split, the way some of the other ones were, where the admin were up top and you have to cut through the lobby to get over to the
Yeah.
admin areas, they're gonna be open. The firefighters are gonna be answering the door a lot. But the other part of it is that they wear multiple hats. So now, if I have one of my firefighters who is also, say, the EMS coordinator, they're gonna be on a completely opposite side of the building as their coworker, you know, across
Yeah.
the lobby, just because they have to go into their office to do some things on a
Sure.
Saturday or a Sunday, versus now they're all sort of condensed in that one side of the building. The training room's on the other side of the lobby. We're all on this side of the lobby. I completely appreciate what you're saying, but it's like the trade. I'm trying to put it against some of the other trade-offs, if you will.
Yeah, I think my understanding of the Boxborough Fire Department is that, as the chief said, everyone has like 2 roles, and so part of their time is going to be in the admin portion, and part of the time will be in the residential portion. And to have those 2 not be connected easily without having, they don't need to go through security. The chief and I talked about this the other day, that really within the admin portion there would be some rooms that would be locked for various reasons, but most of them would be open. And so it's really an extension of the living quarters. Whereas there are some departments where the admin offices are completely separate. You would never have a firefighter in their admin office. They would always be on their side of the building. And I think this department is structured differently.
And that may be, I don't know, a function of how many people you have in the building.
It is.
Like Norfolk, we walked upstairs, and I think living was behind a locked door to the left, admin behind a locked door to the right. But they have enough people who are in all those spaces all the time, where our space.
So, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I can't tell you, I appreciate you worried about them, but I can't tell you how many times a week I answer the door, right? Our admin is part-time.
Yeah.
She splits her time and spends a lot of time. DPW needs her a lot because she's also doing the cemetery things and also their admin stuff. And then with the senior safes and the inspections and the emergency calls, I find myself alone in the building a lot of the time, and I'm always answering the door. So, yeah, I think that it does. It comes down to, what do we have for personnel and who's going to be doing what, and looking at that layout right there, that kind of accommodates the way we operate.
What actually happens in the watch room? What goes
So
on?
that, more or less, you'd be able to go into there. We would have, that's where we'd be able to go in and take our master boxes on and offline for people to do the work during the day. So we'd have a computer in there to do the switching of the box. You'd be able to look at who's coming into the building, grant them access, do those types of things. It's just it's an added layer of security. It's like Maria said, it's where the tickets get collected, if you will, when people are coming into the vestibule.
Great.
Right, so there's a lot of excitement around this general design.
Yeah, I
Or
think.
layout, I should
yeah,
say.
I think we felt that as well as we started working on it. You know, the benefit of doing so many conceptual designs is you eventually distill it down to something which makes more sense for that department.
Yeah.
Next slide.
So
Is this,
complicated.
oh, see, this makes me happier. There's not as many roof lines.
What's the
Still looks a little bit like a
writing.
tobacco shed, but
Yeah.
this is way better.
I guess you weren't in Litchfield County.
Hartford County.
Yeah, so this one's a little simplified as far as roof forms, but we're showing, again, a flat roof on one and a pitched roof on the other in the apparatus. But it is a more straightforward gable residential and admin arrangement of spaces.
Actually, I really like the way this is laid out, even whether it's pitched roof, flat roof, just in general, this front portion, even if we flip it, it just
Yeah.
is I like the
Yeah.
way it looks in this really basic drawing.
Good.
Okay.
All right, another iteration. We did a lot of iterations. And this one, again, it has the double 90 to get out to to get out to Mass Ave, so less ideal than the other site plan we looked at. It's a one-story admin residential quarters. You flip to the next page. The difference in the plan here is now the administrative offices are on the right of the lobby, the public lobby, bathrooms, and the training room is on the left. And then you have the firefighter quarters down beyond the training room. So unlike the last plan, if you were a firefighter who is also working in one of the stations in the admin portion, you would have to cross over the public lobby to get to the offices. So it's less than ideal. But it is just a different iteration of a layout for a one-story scheme. I should say the labeling of these, the A, B, C, D, E, really don't have any relation to how they were developed. I'm not too sure how that happened.
You didn't do a massing study on D?
D is similar to, D is a variation of the one we just looked at with the
Let's see.
the two gables. It's similar to C.
This one?
Yeah,
The one Maria liked.
The one I liked.
Yeah, C, massing option 1C is applicable to option D and applicable to option E. It's
So
both
it's the one that's up on
they're
the
all
screen.
sort of L-shaped layouts.
Your gables would just be different. And then the gable, the big long gable that hits the apparatus, you just have crickets to drains, is that what you do? On the one-
At this point, I'm not so sure yet.
That's okay.
But, I'm not a big cricket fan if I don't.
No,
have
I'm
the
not
cricket.
either. But I don't like interior drains either.
Yeah.
I've always learned that you should put them on the outside of a building. Don't take them to the inside.
Yeah, the only time we generally use interior drains is in the apparatus because they're enormous drains.
I'll bet they are.
Yeah, and you can clean outs, and they're not enclosed. They're not buried in a wall. They're exposed.
And then you've got your overflow drain right there too? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So the main admin residential portion would not have interior drains. It would be rain leaders and tie into an underground stormwater system.
This one shows a deck all of a sudden, Chris.
Yeah.
Is that just because it's off the kitchen and it's a nice place to have a deck? Or why does this have a deck and none of the other ones do?
Because a graphic issue. They weren't, also, all the stations will have some sort of outside space off the day room dining area. Where the firefighters can sit outside on a nice day.
Maybe grill. Yeah.
Chris, is the stair hose, is that going to be about 3 stories, or what do you feel
The
That'll be a
hose tower, well,
right?
the apparatus roof is about 1.5 stories high.
Okay,
For a flat, for a pitched roof, it's higher, obviously. The hose tower in the corner of the apparatus would be 1 story above that.
okay.
So that you would have stair and door access to the roof. And you can also use that as training, and you would have a high window, knockout window for training as well.
Okay, for training,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So ideally, what we would have, that section of support spaces on the outer side of the apparatus, none of those rooms need to be the full height of the apparatus.
Right.
So we probably would put a thin concrete slab and deck and create a loft area for storage. And so this hose tower, you go up 1 flight to that storage level, go up another flight to the roof level, and then the top of that would be built with a parapet, so you can do highlighter rescue training, as well as training off the side onto the apparatus roof.
Okay.
All
Is
right.
this the
And
drawing
E?
we're on, or am I going one more?
We can move on.
Okay. Oh, to this one.
And then E, again, this is, did we look at E before?
D and E look incredibly similar, except
Yeah.
some spaces are orange versus pink.
It's just the end
It's a
of the
cul-de-sac.
hallway.
Yeah, D and E, the arrangement of the dormitory
yeah,
space
I
is
see.
slightly different.
I see that, yeah.
But they are very similar.
Right here. This is E?
Yeah, yep.
I think there's some
Yeah,
So
spaces
the
that.
fitness and the kitchen are moved up
Yeah.
by the deck.
No, they're over there on D also. There's a little T shape at the end of the building. It's
Oh,
a
I
straight
see.
hallway.
Yeah,
This
that's
one.
a
I was like,
good
she's one ahead of me.
catch.
I don't see any
I
difference.
just compared.
The
A lot of
difference
highlights magazines.
is this.
So E
Yeah.
just has a different configuration of the dormitory space, so you don't have a dead-end corridor at the exterior wall.
Yeah.
See, when you flip back to this one, it doesn't have that.
How do you get your exiting requirements? Long corridor, gotta have exits at each end.
On 1E.
Well, yeah, D would work, you just have to have an emergency door at the end, but you've got rooms there, so somehow you need to get people out.
Or is that what the deck is for? Come on,
No, no,
that one?
well,
But could you go through the study
Yeah,
to get an exit
the
door?
way you get out would be through the kitchen day room onto the patio. I think, yeah, we'll look at that, but I think we can make that work.
Right, but we've already talked about not really liking this setup, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is not an ideal setup for the
No.
chief, so, you know,
Nobody
Well,
was.
let's
maybe
get
we
rid of
don't
that.
need to spend a whole lot of time making that work.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
All right, so
Okay, so now we're
the
on
last set of plans that are here are the two-story plans. It's two-story element,
2B.
two-story building.
Yeah.
That's option 2.
option 2.
So am I going another one?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
there's a,
that's the
there's a
site plan.
site
That's the
option for
site plan for the
that
two-story.
you were on.
Okay, there we go. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about this?
So
Okay.
if the two-story plan is something we want to continue looking at, we would be rotating the building like we did with the one-story plan, so the apparatus would be facing Sarah's Way. And it just is a narrower residential admin portion because it's 2 stories opposed to being 1 story. And you do have connection between the residential portion and the admin portion, because the residential portion is above the admin portion. You come down a stair. Not as easy to get to the lobby as it would be in the 1-story scheme, but you still don't have to go through a public space.
Okay, so here's the,
Is that a big line of lockers in the center of that open space?
Yes. Yeah, every dorm room has 4 wardrobe cabinets, and they're outside of the dorm rooms.
So it wouldn't have to sit in the middle of the hallway, it could be up, well, like we saw it, was it Norfolk? It's like right outside the dorm door. It's actually like a little entryway, and there were 4, I think, for each room.
Yeah, that's how we show it in the other schemes.
Yeah.
You come
Yeah.
out of the door, and there's 2 lockers on the right and 2 lockers on the left.
so
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
getting to the front door for this scheme.
Yeah.
You gotta go down a
Crazy.
stair.
Plus, it's just talk about a tobacco bar.
Oh, wait, hold on. Alan showed me, oh, yes, well, see, you either have that or you have this ridiculously all-flat one. Option 2 is.
Movie cinema,
Yeah,
tobacco bar.
exactly.
Maria, the problem is we don't know what you're thinking. No.
No, I'm never clear from with my feelings. I am not a fan of the flat everything
Yeah,
here.
me either.
That feels very industrial.
It's very
versus-
modern. I know
yeah.
Priya's very excited about that one, but with her single little pink dot on the modern
Oh.
building, and she was it. Actually, I would say that this is not a bad roof line situation.
It isn't, right.
It's not too bad. It does look, I mean, there'll be windows there, so it won't look quite so
Right,
tobacco barney.
right.
That said, I'm not sure, how do we feel about a two-story?
We're looking at
I prefer the single story, and just, again, beside myself answering the door, the firefighters having to go up and down to get the door on,
Yeah,
you know, 7
ridiculous.
days a week,
Get
you know,
rid
on
of
the
the
weekends, and
two-story.
then the other part of that is like, and I understand that
Go back up so you can
we're
see.
jammed for space, but the fitness room being on the first floor, but yet their clothes and all their stuff would be upstairs. It's like when the emergency comes in, there's no place to change back into your clothes to go back out to the trucks there with your uniform on. You'd have to run up a flight of stairs to grab your belongings and
And
your
someone
things.
else is running
And
down
then go
those
down, and
stairs.
it just, flow-wise and
And the building burned
operationally,
down.
functionality, it doesn't.
But you could have a fire pole here, though.
I don't see it here, Mac. If it were there, I'd be sold, but I don't see it there, so otherwise I'd say, you know what, they can change in the back of the truck, but.
We're spending a lot of real estate having 2 stairways and an elevator.
Yeah,
I mean, it
right, that
seems
adds.
like a lot of overhead.
So I guess my question is, as we're looking at these, and I understand it's early, but like if we really are thinking, like, we've already determined we don't want the admin and the living quarters on opposite sides of the
Right.
building, right? So let's not spend a lot of time around trying to make that work. When do we come up with, you know what, we don't want 2 floors, we would really like to
Right.
see if we could do 1 floor, because that's what the chief wants. I mean, I guess I don't know that
I'm,
process.
I'm gonna look at Chris for
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there are a couple of reasons you would continue looking at the two-story scheme as if it was advantageous for the site layout, being that the configuration of the building on the site required you to have a smaller footprint. I don't think you necessarily have that situation on this site. If it was proven to be a little less expensive, which I know there's an elevator and 2 stairs, but sometimes a smaller footprint and a more regular footprint is a less expensive building. The more jigs and jogs you have, it can get more expensive from a excavation, forming, and structural perspective. Although I have to say, we are still early in the process, and we are, working out how we think it's going to be structured, and that can create an economy if you structure it very efficiently. But also, I really would listen very closely to the chief, because it's going to be his station and his department and what he feels would be the best layout for getting out of the station during an emergency.
And all these plans are around 20,000. I'm still hoping you
They're coming in
get under
about
20.
20,700 to 20,800 at this point.
But our goal, or my goal, is under 20,000, hopefully.
Under 20,000
Right.
square feet, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, we're drawing at a minute scale with, without all of the, studying of how the spaces are joined, so.
It would be great, I guess, for optics if it's under 20,000, but it needs to work.
Right.
It does.
And if you think about 500 square feet.
But
it's not-
there's another advantage to being under 20,000 square feet that Jeff has alluded to, but I don't know what that advantage is.
Well, that's, okay, well, that's a bit of a tease.
He did say something, but he didn't say what it,
Yeah,
so Chris, do you?
it has to do with some permitting issues. If you're less than 20,000 square feet, you can forego certain studies which would save some time and essentially maybe save some features in the building. But, it's not 100% clear yet. One of our consultants is on the fence as to whether that's really should be a driving factor.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, it does need to work.
Yeah.
It needs to work. And so, right,
But if it can work and cut down the permitting process, which we're spending $4,000 a day for every delay, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we can make it work, 500 square feet is not a lot.
Yeah.
To get it down to 19,999 square feet. Just in my humble opinion, I know you're the designer, but.
So I think what you're saying is we shouldn't discount this yet, this two-story one, until we have more information about how big of a footprint we can actually put on that property?
Yeah, I think we need to do a little bit, I think my goal tonight, what I'd like to take away from this meeting tonight is to eliminate some of these options. I think there's a lot of repetition now in some of the options. And I'd like to get down to essentially 2 if we could, and begin to look at those much more closely and study them. That might be, ideally it'd be the 2-story and the 1-story, and really do a deeper dive into the actual layout of the admin portion and determine what is the benefit of either one of them from a square footage perspective and an overall design perspective. The apparatus is going to be the same, no matter what scheme you have. It is what it is. So that's a given. So we look at the complication of forming the foundation. We look at how much of the site is covered, what excavation might be required, given the bigger footprint, or the smaller footprint, and the overall flow within the building. I think the chief raised some good points, that there's some programmatic requirements that we need to really pay attention to that affect the ability of the firefighters to leave wherever they are to get to the apparatus as quickly as possible and be prepared. I imagine when someone comes on their shift, they take their apparatus out of the turnout gear room, put it by the engineer assigned to.
Yes.
Yeah. So really what they need to do is be ready to leave where they are without having to change, without having to take the extra effort to go someplace to get what they need to get on the apparatus to get on things.
And it's, again, it's the turnout gear, leaving the fitness room to go put your turnout gear is not a big deal, but you have to understand that they're staffing the engine and the ambulance. They never know which truck that they're going to be leaving on, so.
Right.
And, wearing the turnout gear and the ambulance, it's just not really, on motor vehicle accidents and things of that nature, it's necessary, but on regular medicals, we just don't do it just because of the gear.
Right, right.
So if they're in their shorts and a tank top working out, they need to get dressed before they get in the ambulance.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, ideally, if I'm having a heart attack, I don't care if they come in shorts and a tank top. I'm just gonna say. Me or my husband, it's fine, but
We have
I
to draw the line
understand.
somewhere, though, so at least, pants and a t-shirt at a minimum.
Yeah.
So from our discussion, I was hearing orientation on the site of 1B, but building layout of 1C, but potentially flipping it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Mac and then Mark.
I was just going to say that, to answer your question, Chris, what I've heard is the layout that the chief liked on a 1-story is one that we should look at, and if you think we need to still look at the 2-story, that would be the second one. And the third issue is that we like the apparatus bay more facing Sarah's way.
Yep.
That seems to be a summary of what I've heard.
Yeah. Mark?
Hold on. Unmute him.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I think what Jeff was referring to about the 20,000 square foot cap being a price point is the fact that when you're designing a new building and you have the stretch energy code to work with. If you design a building over 20,000 square feet, that's a commercial building, you have to do energy modeling in order to comply with the stretch energy code. That is not the adopted stretch code, which is coming. That has no change on that. But basically, when you get over 20,000 square feet, you're hiring that guy that we cut from the, remember the quote unquote haircut on the bill for the lead certified guy who's going to do some energy modeling. Well,
Yeah,
you need energy modeling.
I don't think we cut that. We have energy modeling
Yeah, we do. It's a
in
little,
here.
yeah, I mean, what Mark is saying is true, but it's a little more nuanced than that when it comes down to it. But there potentially can be a savings. We just need to make sure that we're still satisfying the requirements.
Because we talked about wanting the energy modeling anyway to help us decide on like geothermal, is it worth it for the cost? What's the long-term payback, that kind of thing.
Well, my understanding was that the lead certification was one of the items that was cut.
Well, it was never lead certification. We didn't put it out for that. We put it out to be to meet a lot of the lead codes, but we wouldn't go for certification. But because we're interested in the geothermal, we have the energy modeling in there.
Okay. The other point I was going to make is I would not at this point of the discussion get your heart set on a particular angling of the building or getting an idea, a sense of what you might like for the shape of the building is probably a good thing to do right now. Although I would say you're probably going to have to push the building south and west because I'm not sure that we're including the geology of the site, which includes a lot of bedrock, which you can't be. You're going to need all of your permeable soils for tanks and drainage impoundments and leaching fields and other items. So since most of the lithic bedrock is south and west, that's probably where the building's going to wind up being built from a cost savings perspective because it could get very expensive otherwise. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, right, this is still early days. So it's good to have a sense of what we like, but as we learn more, it's going to tweak and push and pull.
Yeah, we have the preliminary information from the geotech, which is good, but it isn't tailored to a layout that we're looking at now.
Right.
So did Mac summarize kind of what the committee was looking for? Are we all in agreement on that?
I have one more thing on, I know that we liked option 1C. I feel like what I'm going to say is kind of counterintuitive because I don't care for the two-story building because of operationally how it doesn't work. But at the same time, option 1C appears, and I know it's conceptual, I get that, but it appears to develop a lot of the property, whereas some of the other options, the site looks slightly less developed because of more paving and everything. I get that we're conceptual though.
Right,
so
right.
If we can find that balance of like less developed site but also functional building and everything.
Yeah, Sarah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're tackling everything in multiple different ways, and as is somewhat evident in the presentation that there are some schemes that are a little further along on some of the site, some less, and some more developed in the building, some less. I think reducing the number of options we have allows us to take, present a more thoughtful, tailored approach each week to those fewer schemes.
The other thing I was looking at as I was like flipping through them after we were talking about the programming of having the admin near the day room and the other space, it looks like that can be moved around.
You can.
On any of the plans. It just depends on which one we finally choose.
Yeah, I think the goal is to have that type of contiguous relationship of spaces.
Exactly.
So that you have a separation of public versus firefighter spaces.
Right, to that point, I would say we liked 1C because it has that admin and living space not interrupted by public. But in the end, if the kitchen and dining room is here or there and dorms here or there, for me, that's the chief and his staff decision, how they're gonna move through the building on a day-to-day basis.
Yep, I agree.
Unless it's, you asked for like the Taj Mahal, like.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Within
But you don't.
19,999
You're not
square
that kind of
feet.
person.
Taj light.
Are we done sharing this?
I think so. So just, but are we, I just want to make sure. So are we in agreement keeping a 1C approach and a 2-story approach for them to kind of develop those more fully?
And 1C being the way the layout is, not necessarily this L shape, but that the admin and the
Yeah.
living quarters are
Yeah,
together,
right.
however that works out.
Right.
Yep.
Right, so
And
that's
they-
what we're
and
talking
they
about
want-
with the 1C.
We want the apparatus bay sort of facing Sarah's
To the
way.
extent
We
possible.
can.
I mean, that's the, you know, to Mark's
Yeah.
point, we can tip it now, but until we know what's underneath the ground in
Right.
specific places,
Yeah.
you know, we may have to tilt it less, move it back, do this, do that, yeah.
Right, so the normal sequence is when you come up with a concept design that appears to be hitting most of the criteria you have, then that becomes the layout that you use when you decide where you do your borings and your test pits.
Yeah.
So that would be the natural progression.
When are you going to want us to be more definitive?
Next meeting.
Next meeting?
Okay.
Yeah, I started putting together a more detailed schedule, which is really focusing on what the goal would be for each fire station building committee, and what the presentations would be at the working group meetings leading up to the fire station building committee meeting, and how that fits in with our overall schedule of where we want to be as far as, you know, starting SD, ending SD, starting DD, ending DD, and so forth, so on. And there's certain milestones we really have to hit to make sure that we meet the March 2027 date.
Are we still basically on your schedule?
Week behind.
A week behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to be wrapping up concept design this week and then doing a more directed design in 2 weeks, but I think we can still make it up.
Okay. Because we can do extra meetings if we need to. We're invested
Yeah, I
in that
don't
timeline.
think an extra meeting will speed me up, but.
Okay, okay. I'm talking about speeding us up, not you.
No, no,
If it's
I
us.
think,
Yeah.
you know, I think the nice thing about what we've done is we've done some due diligence on looking at different options, which hadn't happened, and I know that was a concern in the very beginning when we were doing the contracting, you know, are we gonna do a concept phase before SD? I think we have done that, and now I think through that, the design has evolved and the way the station layout and the use has also become clearer. I think we're in a better spot
Yeah.
to really launch into the SD.
Good.
That's why I say I think it can be made up.
Yeah, okay.
And if we can have a few days of whatever you're going to present to us next meeting, a few days ahead, so that we can
Yep.
ruminate about it, that would
Yeah.
be helpful.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean, even
challenge
a day
because
ahead.
they're designing like every day.
Yeah.
Right, and so they're tweaking and designing and so there was a goal to get things earlier, but then yesterday we talked about this rotating and they needed time to do it. So at that point I said, it's not helpful if we're gonna get it at 4 o'clock just show us in the room, and then we'll all get copies and post it for the public. But to the extent it can be a day or two ahead, it is helpful, because, you see me with the glasses off and like really looking at
Yeah.
Certainly a day before even.
Yeah.
That is our goal. I mean, our plan is to always release drawings on Tuesday, so it's there for Wednesday and for Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think with fewer options, we can be better about doing that.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this?
Yep.
Is that where we're at? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're on Pfeiffer's Day. I'd love to hear about it. I was missing everybody, thinking of you.
I missed it too. I heard it was pretty busy.
Yeah. So we're putting together a package, a Pfeiffer's Day package. I'll share a progress of it right now. I didn't put it in the presentation because it's really not ready yet. I don't know if you guys know the artist Piet Mondrian. Is that anyone over here?
No.
Know the artist? He did a very famous painting called Broadway Boogie Woogie, which looks exactly like the Pfeiffer's Day spreadsheet. But so what we did is we took all the cards, and I think we're at like 100. I don't know, 30 or 40 cards we collected. Some people were very ambitious and they filled both sides with numbers, and other ones filled it with narrative. So we took all of those and we have collected them per design, which relates to the numbers. This final version will actually have the image on top of each number, and it'll have a tally of the votes for that particular image, along with a little bit of text talking about that. But I think it was a really informative day for us. I was really struck by how long people want to talk about the project. And I talked to a number of people who aren't from Boxborough who live in a town where they have done a municipal building, and their response is, I wish that our town took the time to engage the public in the process. So that was really great to hear. So I hope Boxborough realizes, that's really...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said that's what you heard at Pfeiffer's Day from Boxborough. I'm like, isn't that what we're doing now?
No,
You heard it from other communities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, people at Pfeiffer's Day
I had people
from other towns.
Okay, got it.
Really
Okay.
impressed
I
by the
understand.
fact that Boxborough was taking that effort
Good.
to engage the public and to bring them along even before there is a design for the building. And they were saying that they wish that their community was as open to that approach.
But some of those communities don't have just town meeting as their form of government.
Yeah,
And
true.
that's part of it. They don't get a say anyway.
Right, right.
We do live in God's country, so they could come join us if they'd like.
I mentioned
So
that.
what do these yellow boxes and red boxes mean?
Okay, so there were some people who decided to give me what they did not like.
Ah,
Oh, there's your red box.
So those are the red boxes. The yellow boxes are, for instance, every single row represents a card.
okay.
And the columns represent the different numbered images on the three boards. And so, for instance, if you take the first row, that person felt that image 8, 10, 12, and 23 were images that they liked, and they'd like to see that in a new building. If you go down the page and there's a couple. There's one line on the second page that has almost every single rectangle filled in, except for 3 or 4, and there's a bunch of dislikes and a bunch of likes. So it just indicates.
So red is dislike.
Red is dislike.
Red is stop.
Yeah.
But, so the pattern is 10 and 12 are quite popular.
Yeah, so if you go to the front of this where it has the images, you can sort of see 10 and 12 are 2 gabled roof
Yeah.
stations.
I think that corresponds with with the stickies, right?
Yeah,
It did. It did.
Everyone that night loved 12, because they
Right.
have the red doors and the curvature and everything
Yeah.
else. both of these designs have those kind of curved arches for the doors and
Yeah,
stuff, so,
yeah.
and the roof.
Yeah, so the goal here is to finish the
Sorry,
tabulation,
Priya.
make it a little bit more readable and understandable
Yeah.
for this, and then compare it to the notes we took from the visioning session,
Yep.
and then do a comparison summary of
Okay.
the takeaway.
Great, that's great. And there was good, I mean, I see a lot of rows here, well, you said over 100, good participation, were people asking questions, and, yeah, good,
Yeah,
good.
I would say, I don't think there was any time when I was there that there weren't at least, I don't know, 8 to 10 people around the tent.
I'm suspecting Priya had something to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
When
She
Priya
was the hook.
there,
The
it was
Midway
like-
Queen.
Yeah,
The roper.
when Priya was present, probably about like 20 people.
It was,
She-
you know, it was well attended, and it was also very well staffed. So there were three architects from Context, you know, 2 OPMs from Vertex. Chief and I were there, and at all times, there were another 4 or 5 people from the committee. So there were at least 10 people staffing to meet the 10-plus
Excellent.
people.
Yeah.
So it was one-on-one conversations throughout the entire day, and it was fantastic. You know, all of you were there.
Well, most of you were, so thank you for those, you know, nothing against you, Maria.
No, I get
But
it.
thank you for those, all of you who put that time in,
Yeah.
thank you to our team. I'd like to also ask, you know, we did have a feeling at the visioning session, it was a little bit of a skewed older crowd. Do you feel like you got younger family
yes.
input?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the lollipops drew a lot of people in.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, there were a lot of
Candy.
kids and young parents.
They
Were kids
yeah.
doing
And
cards?
the kids voted.
Yeah.
Oh, they did,
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
And
so
they
we-
also, people were more willing to talk, at least to me, when they realized, I'm not gonna ask your name. All I wanna know is where do you live?
Yeah.
And the, keeping it anonymous seemed to make people a lot more lubricated as far as ideas and
Yeah.
comments. Didn't you find that,
Oh,
Chris?
yeah,
too?
everyone's really approachable.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Easy to
awesome.
approach, easy to answer questions. You know, some people came with, you knew they knew what they were gonna tell you, and other people were just there to learn.
Yep, good.
So it was nice, really nice group of people.
Did we get a lot of, I guess, Mike, I don't know, did we write down comments that we got about, more concerns that people may have shown about not design so much, but if people were talking particularly to the members of the committee, not the architects? Too expensive, too big, anything like that?
The majority of concerns, comments that I got personally were, I'm glad to see it's moving along. And that was mostly from residents, but it was also from former residents who were still coming back to Pfeiffer's Day, saying, I'm glad to see this is moving. We know it's been going on 10, 12, 15 years, whatever. And that was the most repetitive comment that I heard. I didn't hear many negative comments at all. It was mostly very positive. Chief, what are your thoughts?
I didn't get anything negative at all. Everything was, just as Mike said, everyone was very optimistic for it moving.
Most of the people that I spoke to, they pretty much said, just get it done.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Just
We
get it
want
done.
it, like, we waited so long, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right,
Can
so, yes, please.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
For all those inquiring minds out there about the cat
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
picture, I
building.
did look it up. Can I read a little bit
please,
for it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Emily sent an explanation.
it's inspired by it's a creation by the artist Peter Raquam. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's inspired by the everyday cat icon, Fire Station Number 9's distinctive identifying symbol, which coincidentally you have it,
It's
picture number 9 also.
Yes.
This colossal cat perches
Here,
at
this
the
cat.
roof's edge as if he is about to leap to the ground to join his crew on their next life-saving mission. The monumental scale of the black cat sculpture also serves to identify this facility as a civic building and assure the public that their firefighters are ever ready. The artwork's sense of whimsy is a fitting match for the fire station and it's family-centric neighborhood and is well-suited to Fremont's personality. It's in Washington. 9 Lives has become a destination on Seattle art tours of the Fremont neighborhood and a landmark for the community.
Cool.
So,
You know, maybe we'll do
need
a
that,
little
Sarah.
Need a
art
That's
grant
right.
after this is all done and do a little Boxborough art up there. Love it.
Priya's got her hand up.
Yes, Priya.
Mike, do we know how many people like actually signed up for email and all that? Did we compile that list?
I don't have the exact number, but I handed over 2 full sheets of, to Kelly, and she's putting that information in. So if there were 40 lines per
Yeah, it
sheet,
was dozens.
maybe close to 80, something like that.
Nice.
It was a lot.
Good.
Okay, good.
Nice work, everyone. Really, this is great. And so we have another public outreach event on July 23rd. So what's our goal focus of that one?
That's going to be more design focused, or building design focused.
So we kind of, at that point, already know if we're gonna do 1 floor or 2 floors.
Yes.
And now we're looking at designs.
So it's more of an update to the public versus an opportunity for input?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think, and I sort of I got the sense that people are ready to make that transition.
Yes.
Yeah, people are ready to kind of move on.
Yeah, okay, good. So we're gonna need to do some PR. Saw the sign up already.
Yep. The sign's up. We'll get the electronic sign again the week before. The police chief was great about doing that. Transfer station?
Sure.
Transfer
It's gonna
station.
be,
So we'll do a flyer.
We'll do a flyer for the transfer station, that it usually goes to the library, and it actually, the flyer that we used for, Pfeiffer's Day is the flyer we'll use for the transfer station.
Is it clear that it is less of an input opportunity and more of an update?
It is not,
I
because
don't-
we didn't have that information.
Because
so
I
we
don't
can
want to give
certainly
people the
clean that
wrong
up.
idea.
So what are we gonna call it? A listening session?
progress report?
Yeah, progress report.
Progress.
Progress report.
Progress
There you
report.
go. Okay. So visioning / progress report.
not visioning.
Not visioning.
Not visioning.
We're not doing any visioning.
Visioning's
Okay.
over.
But we're gonna show sketches or something?
Yes.
So that's why people should come.
Yeah.
Is to
Design process.
see the progress we've made so far.
Yeah. And it'll be cool stuff
We
to
get
look
it-
at again,
right,
but
so we're
it's
gonna
now
use the
getting
word
more
design.
Boxborough specific.
Right.
So that's also, this is more Boxborough
So
specific.
we'll use the word design, take out visioning and something about
Yeah.
design progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Session.
And that's what we told everybody when we asked for their email address. They really wanted to get more information, so they gave us the email addresses.
Yeah.
And it's basically, I told them, you will get updates on as we're going through the design. So it's basically a design update.
Great.
Okay. Priya has her hand up.
Thank you, Priya.
One of the things I think yesterday, it kind of I was at the Economic Development Committee, and something that was discussed there kind of made me wonder about like Instagram account. Many of the 30, 40 somethings, they all follow Instagram as opposed to like Facebook in terms of social media. Is there a way we could create like a fire station building committee Instagram account? I don't know if it's kosher. Just this is probably for Mike. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't have an answer for that right off, but we can certainly look into it.
Do we have a Facebook?
We do not have a Facebook page.
Because, when you post to one, it posts to the other,
Right.
I learned, because I guess I'm hip.
You are.
But
You
now
do
by
post on
saying,
both.
by now saying hip, I'm no longer hip, right? But anyway, I have an Instagram. I don't post on Facebook. I
Right.
post on Instagram,
So-
but it pushes to Facebook.
And I don't post on Instagram because I don't understand it, but I post to Facebook.
I can't figure out
And my kids have set
Facebook.
it up to push through. So, Priya, the problem with that is, and we can talk about it a little bit offline, is if we're gonna do social media, that's gonna be dedicated to the fire station, we need to keep it updated. And by updated, it needs to be like 2 or 3 times a week. You know, there is the Vote Yes group has a Facebook page, and that is updated quite often. Because otherwise, it gets lost in the, what's it called?
Thread?
The algorithm.
The
or whatever.
algorithm,
So
yeah.
it doesn't rise to the top. And that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To do a separate Facebook and Instagram page.
When we did the school building project, our contractor gave us a weekly update that then we pushed out through Instagram and Facebook.
But that was during the building stage,
It was
right?
during the building
Yeah.
stage, right. And so, and that was cool because you saw the pictures, the girders, and then this change and that change. So maybe at that stage, if there is a weekly material to be sharing, because that was also when we said, oh, when there's going to be blasting, you know, and so people knew about any impacts.
And actually, do we even know if we have a town Instagram page? Because we have a town Facebook page. Maybe we could ask Rajon if there's an Instagram page. Maybe what we need to do is advertise that because Kelly and Rajon are great about posting.
There's Instagram.
There is an Instagram.
Yeah, there's Twitter.
Oh,
too.
it's on the.
It's on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website. So there is an Instagram. So it's got to push out.
Okay.
We just got to get people to sign up
Have
for the town
content.
Instagram versus just the town. And that's
Yeah,
that younger crowd, which, you know, that's that's
I'll
Sarah's-
put it on my Instagram, so all my fans.
There you go. You can
all,
share it.
all 7 of them.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of friends that are my kids' friends, not mine, so they don't even live local. So we'll do that. We did an all boards email last time. We'll do the same thing. I'll ask Kelly to do the same thing, and then she did a follow-up. And we asked, I initially said to her, please send it to all boards, and then the second one was to ask the boards to send it out to their friends, like forward this on to people you know outside your committees. And I mean, I think that's the extent of what we've done for that. So.
All right, that sounds great. I'm going to move us to minutes from June 11th.
Here, before we,
Oh,
sorry, after
please.
we're done with that,
Yeah.
there's one thing I want to bring up under like a reports. I want to report out from the planning board.
Okay.
meeting. Okay.
Okay.
And one thing before that too, I noticed that my name was on the notes
Oh.
for the
Vision.
visioning session, and I wasn't able to be there. So that should be,
Oh, okay.
my name should be taken off that.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to do your thing before the minutes? That's fine.
So I was at the planning board meeting, oh, Steve's got his hand up. Do you want to talk to him first? Oh, no, he put his hand up.
Okay.
I was at the planning board meeting the other night, and the sustainability committee, and I also saw this at the select board meeting, did a presentation, and this was a week ago Monday, about the super stretch code. Right now, the town has adopted the stretch codes. The super stretch code brings it to the next level, and which basically says any new construction, you cannot have any fossil fuels. You can, but there's a premium, because then there's things you have to do to offset your fossil fuels. And one of the slides had to do with fire station. We didn't discuss that, and I wasn't sure if you provided the information. I didn't think so. So at the planning board meeting, I did not speak because I'm a FinCom liaison to that committee, so I'm very careful about what I say, and so I did talk to Ian. They're talking about trying to get this adopted possibly for the fall town meeting. I think it's really quick. And then that the fire station would kind of fall under that for the planning, site plan. I think that by November, we should be in front of the planning board already, so I'm not sure that we would be part of this super stretch code. The super stretch code basically has a higher upfront cost, and then you get, you know, your return on investment, which is like, you know, the upfront cost was, they weren't sure, somewhere around at least $100,000 more, and it would be just electric, right? There's be no other, and then if we needed to bring in, let's say, gas or even diesel, there's a lot of questions about, like, do we need diesel for the generator? And can we have that on site, or does that then push us into this, we need to make up the difference through solar panels, and there's a cost associated with that if you don't do just, right? So there's a lot going on, and I talked to Ian once and said, you know, I think that we're probably gonna be well beyond the planning stage in November. I would hope so, otherwise we're never gonna make town meeting. And there was some talk about grant money for the fire station building committee to use for design. But when I followed up with Ian the next day, I said, okay, when does that grant process end? Because $60,000, we'll take it for design money. That grant process closed on June 2nd. And the next one would be at least 6 months from now.
Right.
So that doesn't do us any good. So the same presentation was done on Monday night for the select board, minus the grant stuff, because I did say to Ian, you gotta take that out, because people are gonna think that we're like neglecting the grant.
Lax if we
Yes,
don't
and we're
go for
not.
it.
That's just
Right.
not available for us in our time frame. So it was the same presentation was made on Monday. I don't know where this is gonna go. I think that we at least, if we really, by the schedule, feel like we're gonna be well into the design, we've already said we're looking for a sustainable building as much as possible. I think we need to just kind of be taken out of that presentation because, you know.
So let me tell you what's going on in a number of fronts. So first of all, Priya contacted me yesterday about it coming before the select board, and she's going to share the presentation with me.
Okay.
Second of all, before any of this happened, Chris and Mike had reached out to Kate Davies of the Sustainability Committee and said, hey, we need to meet soon. Kate came back and said, our next meeting is July 8th. We don't think Thornton Tomasetti is going to be ready by July 8th, so Chris is looking into the 15th or the 22nd.
It's now the 15th.
It's the 15th?
Yeah.
Okay. Kate's my neighbor, so this morning when I was driving to work, she was walking up the street. I said 15th or 22nd, so you've connected with her as well. So we're going to meet with them on the 15th.
Right.
So we're kind of moving forward because, I mean, we'd like to do as much as we can within what we think we can afford. On the other side, Rich Gazzardi, I believe, is the chair now of the planning board. Rich, to my understanding, reached out to Alec and said, Alec, we need to know what's going on with the fire station building project before they come to us for requests, and so that we can get input on what they are going to ask. Why not do it up front? And so Alec is going to start coming to our weekly internal meetings.
Okay.
So we're kind of working with both boards, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think Rich might entertain a meeting just to kind of tell us the broad things if we want to do some kind of joint meeting. So we're thinking about all of it, but yes, we have to be careful. It's tricky if we do a whole bunch of design and then they pass it. Are we grandfathered in? And we could try to do that. We could just say they're too far, they're grandfathered.
But I think we need to put that out now.
Right,
Frankly,
exactly.
I think that, and I'm not sure, this is a general bylaw. We talked about it last, on Monday night. There needs to be a lot of public input because this also doesn't affect, the fire station is just sort of one slide.
Right.
It's all the building in town, the cost of that building.
Is it residential or just?
It's residential and commercial.
Oh, it's residential and commercial?
Yes,
Wow.
and it's all new construction. What does that mean in ADU? There's a lot that needs to be fleshed out. I'm not sure that this will make it to a November town meeting.
Awfully quick.
That's really quick.
And Sustainability Committee's putting it forward, or Planning Board?
The Sustainability Committee's putting it forward. They went to the Planning Board. But I got the impression from the Select Board that they want to do there's got to be a lot of public outreach. And there's too many questions that we don't have answers to. I just want to put it out there to you because you know how things are. They go to a meeting, they get put up on a slide, and everyone's like, well, it's only going to cost $100,000. Well, we already know that a net zero building is going to be well over that.
Yeah.
And $100,000 does not account for.
It's right.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and we,
Exactly.
and we're already going down that path. So I just want to make sure that the problem is we can't be working in silos.
Right.
On something like this. This needs to be
because
done with all the stakeholders.
everything has a consequence.
Yeah.
And so like you're saying, if the diesel generator counts as diesel fuel, non-electric, and that means you have to do $100,000 worth of trees, solar, whatever it is, that's a cost to the project. That's a cost to the taxpayer. And so you do need to think about all of these kind of contingencies.
Which is why I think, I don't know that it's gonna make it to the fall town meeting, because there's
Yeah.
all those questions for residential properties and commercial properties, and
But
so,
so
you know.
even, you keep saying the fall town meeting, so this is something, so we're gonna ask for the money likely in May of '27.
Yep.
But we'll probably go to the planning board for approval before that. No.
It's typically when you permit the building is when the code is, when you pull your permit for the building is when they look at the codes that are enacted at that time.
So that's 28, 29.
So, and, no, when you actually like apply.
The initial, apply for the permit.
When you apply for the permit.
Not when it's granted,
Yeah,
okay.
so, and then, but, I mean, the planning board, I don't know if the state requires them to do something else, but typically they can, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I know in the past when other codes were adopted, they could give you like a 6-month grace period because not everybody can flip to the new code so quickly. I don't know if that's the case here.
Yeah.
But maybe that could be explored
That
as
needs
well.
to be part of the conversation, because I think, did you get that impression that you felt like the select board was like, sort of like, well, this is a lot?
They want to ask a lot more questions, get a lot more answers, and you're right, a lot more public input. And Kate Davies said, this is just the beginning, we're just trying to get out and test the waters a little bit. So I
Right.
got the impression that she's not trying to rush it, but I shouldn't be quoted on that, but that's just the impression.
But even if they didn't make fall town meeting, but made May town meeting, that would still put us under that requirement.
Right, but we would have gone through the planning process, so I understand
Yeah.
that, but like maybe there's some type of way to, I just
That's
think
what I'm
that's what we
saying,
need to
grandfather,
explore.
like if we've
Can we-
already done all that.
Yeah. Or
'Cause
honestly,
would-
does that, then that's something they need to think about. I mean,
Right.
I think that would
Okay.
lose support. Like if that was
Okay.
one of the things and it affected the cost of the fire station,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
need to build a fire station.
I mean, I
don't
think
care
it's
about
great.
fossil fuel right now.
I'm happy to hear they're talking about that, because it's great for the community. But we all need to
But we are
talk
al-
together.
Yes, and we're
Yeah.
already talking about
Right.
what we can do to eliminate, maybe we do eliminate fossil fuel. I mean, I don't know what we did at the boardwalk. I know that we had backup stuff.
Yeah, but it was electric.
But it was electric,
It was
so-
electric.
So maybe that's what we're gonna do anyway.
There likely is, I mean, I think a generator, because electric goes out, right?
Right.
He's gonna need a generator.
Yeah, so we've done stations that are all fossil fuel free electric generators, and it is
Yeah.
a risk. You have to build in redundancy because of that, for that very reason. And we've done buildings that have everything is electric except for the generator, which is diesel. You tend not to do gas. That's the one thing you really shy away from.
Yeah.
Certain communities are more restrictive than others.
I get the impression this super stretch code is about what's coming down from the state level, and we don't get to tweak that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No. Yeah.
That's a
it is,
given.
I mean, that's,
Yes, so
it's the
I
way it's
hadn't
written.
thought of that.
Yeah,
Correct.
so,
Yeah.
so, anyway, this is
Okay.
just, I want to put that out there for everybody so that we were all on the same page.
Yeah.
Mike, will you post the July 15th meeting, so if any of us go?
Yes.
Are they via Zoom only?
They indicated the July 8th meeting was via Zoom.
No, they do meet in person.
Oh, okay.
The last sustainability meeting I went, it was in person.
Okay.
So they do meet, like hybrid, I should say hybrid. Some
Yeah.
folks
15th
join via Zoom. And the select board did feel like, I mean, there's a lot going on, and it falls under the general bylaw, so we potentially might take up this bylaw, but I don't know when. We definitely want a lot of public engagement first. I think that's going to happen before we even bring it up in terms of a warrant article. So that will be happening.
Yeah. I mean, because I also think
Yeah. Pretty
residents
extensively.
are gonna
Yeah. Yes.
have, need to understand it and may want to have a lot of input just for their own. Right.
But I mean, even for the fire station, we
Yeah.
are, I think I made that point at the select board meeting. We are trying to make the most sustainable. We can't do net zero likely, but we're
Right.
getting as close as we can. And that's already in our brains and our, you know, it's a matter of costs, and so.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I think the dual fuel option is available. I don't think it has to be 100% all electric, it has to be electric ready.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's.
So when we are doing electric ready, and if we have the other, it's not that it's going to cost more, it's because if we had just done the other gas or like oil or whatever it might be, to make the electric ready will be the additional cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Or right, like so, yeah.
Yeah, which is not a huge cost when the walls are open.
Yeah.
It's more of a pain when
I think
you're
the
opening
cost
walls.
that they estimated for what they had heard about the fire station design was about $100,000 more,
Okay,
which doesn't seem like a lot when you're talking about,
yeah,
you know, $29 million.
right.
But,
I just want to say this shows the value of having committee members who are on other boards to cross-populate and inform people. Yeah, so.
Did you say that Thornton Tomasetti was gonna take a look at it as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're meeting next week to start to map out the agenda for the 15th. And we'll share it with Kate as it gets more developed.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be reviewing this potential new requirements and, okay.
So, is that a meeting, like you guys are meeting with them or all of us? Is it a joint board meeting?
I think the intention was for the design team, so for Context and Thornton Tomasetti, to meet with them and discuss and see what's sustainability looking for, what's the design team looking at. But certainly, I don't know that it has to be a joint meeting.
Right.
But certainly, we want to post it in
Post
case
that there
there's
could be
a
a
quorum
quorum.
there. At least, I think that's the thinking anyway.
Yeah, it's really to map out a pathway forward to incorporate all of it as the design starts taking shape. I think Kate indicated it's a virtual meeting on the 15th.
Okay, and it's at 7 PM.
Yes.
so you will post a quorum for us?
Yes.
Because we did that with the boardwalk too, Mary, and I think it's
Yeah.
important that.
I
you
think
know,
it's
the
great.
committees, if they
Yeah,
can show up,
I-
to support the project, more importantly, hear everything for
yeah,
yourselves.
I was
you know.
expecting that it would
Yeah.
involve the
Yeah.
committee.
And I actually think it's a good idea to have Rich come to one of our meetings, whether it's a joint meeting with the whole planning board.
Yeah.
To be able to say, you know, what are you looking for?
Right,
Or
right.
this is the path we're going down. And again, I invited the select board and the planning board. I will send an invitation out for the visioning session on the 23rd.
Not visioning though, but.
I'm sorry, whatever we're calling it.
Progress.
The
yeah.
progress, design progress report.
Great,
But
yeah,
I'll
that's great.
send that a personal invitation to them like I did last time.
Right.
And Mike, maybe you could post a quorum for all the committees.
Yeah, so Kelly is actually in this meeting right now. She's listening, and she's already responded that she's posting it. And she's already got all the minutes caught up to what's been voted so far. So
great.
by the time we get out of this meeting, you'll be able to see everything.
All right, thanks
Wow.
Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Good, glad Janet gave that input at the beginning, so Kelly was productive while she hosted
Yeah.
this meeting.
Actually, Steve made us aware of that yesterday, because he had looked at it, Steve Kirby, and Kelly's been working on that to get us caught up with where we are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the outreach committee we haven't met in a while. We'll like kind of sit down at some point
Yeah.
soon and kind of look at the website. We already updated it once. We're
Yeah.
going to clearly need to refresh that page again.
Okay,
Speaking of that, the context contract is up on the website now, all 173 pages of it. So what we put in there was the state required contract backed up with the proposal, which was, I think, 99 pages from context. Behind that, all of the subcontract, proposals, which are to context, not to us, but just so people can see those. And then after that is the RFQ with addendum 1 that Steve Kirby put out. So all of that is there. And then as you remember, you already voted the Vertex addendum number 3, and we're just waiting for somebody high up the chain at Vertex just needs to sign that, and then that'll go up, within the next week on the website as well.
good, thank you. All right, so we have minutes from June 11th. Any comments?
Steve has his.
I have two things that might, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Steve, go ahead, Steve, sorry.
Sorry.
Just a quick note on the minutes. Ryan Carduce was also in attendance from Vertex.
Okay.
You could add him to the attendees.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, Alan?
I have two things that might need further clarification. The big paragraph that's right in the center of the page, the last there's a sentence in the last two lines. The sentence says, "This will have joint access to Route 111." What will have access to
The attorney
joint?
continues to make sure that the town will have the right to use,
Yeah.
maintain, and update as needed the bottom of Sarah's Way.
Right.
So it,
Then it says, "This will have joint access to Route 111."
I think it's the bottom of Sarah's Way. I don't know, I don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it might need further
Yeah.
clarification, or just take it out. I don't know what.
What
the-
about, the
Or do they mean
bottom?
both the town and the people that live on Sarah's Way will have joint access to Route 111?
I wasn't there,
No,
but I'm gonna say, what if we say the town will have the right to use, maintain, and update as needed the bottom of Sarah's Way, comma, which connects onto Route 11?
sure. It's just a little nebulous. And the only other thing that I want to make sure it's clear, at the top of the next page, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line down, there's a sentence that says, and we're talking about context, they are continuing to keep with a 20,000 square foot cap.
Yeah, to take
As
out
though
width.
there's gonna be a 20,000 square foot cap, as opposed they are gonna try to keep, they
Yeah.
intend to keep. This makes a commitment to keep.
Right.
And we haven't made that commitment.
No.
Yeah,
No,
they
we're-
are
we're-
working toward a 20,000 square, should we say that, or trying?
That's all I had.
How do you guys want to reword that?
That's fine.
They are attempting, we are trying.
Okay.
Trying to keep.
They are trying to keep within,
Yeah, a 20,000, is it 20,000 or
Well,
20,100?
Wait,
Yeah.
but the designs we had tonight went slightly over that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so.
but there's still, the designs tonight are still early
Yeah.
days.
Right.
So it could reduce as they get tighter and, there's still a
We say
factor
they-
in there.
Yeah, they will attempt to keep.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying.
20,000.
This makes a
We would-
commitment
I
to
have,
do.
they are trying to keep within a 20,000.
Or the goal is a
square feet.
20,000
goal.
square foot
They have a
building.
A
goal.
goal of 20,000
Goal.
square feet, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
So what do you want it to be?
The goal
Yeah.
is a 20,000 square foot
Keep with
facility.
a goal of 20,000 square feet.
They're
building,
trying
take
to
cap out of
keep
there.
within.
So eventually, Chris, when we design those
A
canopies,
goal
does that count
Yeah,
as square
without the
feet?
cap.
No,
As Sarah said.
that's part of site
20,000
costs.
square feet.
Yeah.
And take out
So we could put a huge
Yeah.
carport out back,
Right, enormous one, right?
and you'll still be a hero for being under
A
20,000.
10,000 square foot carport and a 15,000 square foot building.
Right.
Okay. Anything else in the minutes?
Not by me. Anybody else?
Can I have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Alan moved, Maria seconded. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Mike?
I approve.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Neil and I.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
Priya?
So that I,
And Mary, aye, so that's unanimous. Okay, so then we have a budget to review.
yes, we can't see you guys, it just says BXB-TV.
Oh,
Yep.
What?
okay.
What happened?
What do you mean? There's BXB-TV here. So you can only see BXB-TV, you can't see us?
No.
I only see that, it just says BXB-TV. That's all
Why,
it's-
can you put the camera back out here? You-
Do they really want to
Just
see
went.
this?
Do you want to present
That I
the
know.
invoices anyway?
Yeah, we're gonna do the invoices, so maybe.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Maria, do you wanna pull that up? Or,
I requested a share, I don't know if you
Okay.
can do it or not.
Oh, you know what, Mike, can you make Steve a co-host?
whoa,
Yep.
okay.
What?
Can you see that?
Yes,
Yes.
we can, thank you, Steve.
No. Hold on a second.
This was in print for me, my size print. I was like, I thought my printer did something wrong at first.
So, we're updating the budget review sheet now with breaking up the context contract into the various phases. So I sort of did a little bit of a reduced invoice presentation, because these are invoices for the month of May. So we have a Vertex invoice number 21 for $11,365.50. Again, I just want to confirm, you are seeing the spreadsheet that I have up?
Yes, we are.
Then we have Context Architecture, their invoice number 1 under the new contract for $56,145. And then the Kristen Patnod meeting minutes for 4/15, 5/14, and 5/28 for the amount of $425.91. The total is $67,936.41. And then after the spreadsheet, I have the copies of the invoices themselves.
Great. Any questions?
I'd make a motion to approve the invoice of $67,936.41.
Second.
Okay, Mac moved, Sarah seconded, and I'm going to take a roll call vote. Mike?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Yolanda?
Sarah?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Priya? Sorry,
Sundaram, aye.
Thank you. And Brolin, aye. So that's unanimous.
I don't know if we got cut off.
No, you're still there, Priya. Can you hear us?
No.
You know, did I?
Priya, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can't hear us. Hold on. They can't hear us now.
Remotely, we're cut off.
Yeah.
Unmute again.
Yeah, unmute her. Can you unmute her?
Unmute who?
BXB,
Oh, BXB.
Foxborough TV.
I don't know where you're
Oh,
muted.
I see BXB-TV.
Hold on.
I think they are muted.
Can you hear us now?
Okay, can you
If
hear?
they unmute, we might be able to hear them.
BXB needs to be unmuted.
I just tried to unmute you. You need to unmute yourself now.
Okay. Oh, we
There
can
we
hear
go.
you guys
Yeah.
now.
Sorry,
I can-
something happened and we had to unmute them and yeah, okay. I believe we're getting to the end of this meeting. Our next meeting is July 9th. So hopefully everyone can make that and
Mary, I'll be not unavailable on that day. I'm on vacation.
okay,
I
great.
just leave on that.
Hope you
You
have a
allowed
lovely
vacation?
vacation. Yeah, she is. She worked hard at Pfeiffer's Day. She earned her vacation. All right, any last updates? Okay, with that, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Maria moved, Alan seconded, and it looks like it's 9:59. Roll call vote. Mike?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
And Mary, aye. Thank you, everybody. And I actually just want to say, I apologize to the public again for technical difficulties. Last time, this time, we will work on that and be better in the future. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.